Alright guys, welcome to another video of, Instagram theme pages. And in today's video, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna be talking about why you should start a newsletter in 2025 for your Instagram theme page. Now, you can apply these concepts if you're doing something else. Maybe it is TikTok, maybe it is, I would say Snapchat, but maybe it is your personal brand. Um, but yeah, this is primarily focused on Instagram theme pages. And if you're doing anything faceless Instagram based, if you're just new here, my name is Justin. I've grown a total of over 450,000 Instagram followers, including these accounts, which have 53,037 and 11,000. These are just some previous accounts that I grew and I owned. But if you're just new here, then I highly recommend you join my Discord server, Theme Page HQ. As you can see, we actually have a decent amount of members, about 90 members. You can come in here, you know, provide opportunities for y'all, monetization strategies, free guides, free tools. So I think it's just a good community to join if you want. But yeah, anyways, let's get started on why you should start a newsletter in 2025, because I believe this is the best way to actually, take your Instagram theme page from just being a page into an actual legitimate business. Okay, so let's get started from scratch. Before we even start a newsletter, we want to have an audience. Okay. So this could be, anything. This can be an account about business, an account about, cars, food, but we want to have an initial audience that we can provide value to. Okay. I've had some pages contact me in the past, primarily sort of like meme pages and specific pages like, I remember there's this one that was like girls raising boys or something, and I honestly didn't think that a newsletter would work that well for them, just because they didn't have like a direct offer and like value they could provide. That was pretty much just for entertainment. So if you're doing like meme accounts, like those specific accounts, I believe that won't work as well for a newsletter as some of the other accounts that I listed down, like, business, science, engineering, maybe art, food, anything you can provide value with. Even myself right now, I started a newsletter for my personal brand, and, I provide value talking about, deep dive insights of social media, theme pages, etc. So that even works well for me. So yeah, I think accounts like that, especially nowadays, I mean, right now, that works just because they're providing value. So, step one, what we want to do right here is get a niche or get an account that we can provide value for. Um, yeah, so that's what we want to do. Okay, so let's just go on. Have a few things I want to touch on. Pretty much, I'm just gonna be talking, you know. So pretty much, first thing we want, as I said earlier, we want traffic. Okay, I have a newsletter right now. Currently has about 18 subs. I've only published like one piece of content on here, but pretty much we want to have a direct source of traffic, so we can actually get those subscribers. And I'll talk a little more how to get subscribers later, but yeah, we want to actually get subscribers. So the reason we want to actually start a newsletter and to get these subscribers is because of this right here. I'll show you right here. So this used to be an old Instagram account I used to have. As you can see, this is a while ago. This is around like 3 years ago. And pretty much up until like, what's this, March 3rd, I had this account and it was growing rapidly, like 300 followers a day. But out of nowhere, it got banned. So the thing I realized about that is that from here, from Instagram, you cannot control your followers. Um, by using a newsletter, it pretty much guarantees you that you have a set email list that you can sell to whenever, and that's why we want to get a newsletter, so we can direct traffic from our Instagram to an actual newsletter, promote our products, sell digital services, products, anything. Like, you got to keep in mind that having a newsletter is, these are your top of the rank followers. Like, these are, top 5, top 10% of your followers that are actually willing to, potentially buy from you, invest into you, and get a service that you're promoting. So you just got to remember that, you know, because you're getting, your top quality followers, conversion rates will be higher as well. So to even get to this point though, we need to get, a source of traffic. So if you have an Instagram account, anything like this, you know, this is perfect. As I said before, some of the top niches as of right now are business, social media, but I wouldn't even say like a specific niche is better than the other, but you just want something that you can provide value for. The one thing I'm realizing about theme pages and even my personal brand right now is that the more value you provide, the more money you make in the long run. Okay, I'll give an example. So pretty much I had a call with a client the other day. Um, and I do personal calls, for my brand and whatnot. And it's a 30-minute consultation call. And that 30-minute call is turning into, a potential, couple $100 a month consulting partnership. So the point of that being said is that you can actually, sell people a lot through email lists, calls, but you just got to get them through that initial door of, subscribing to your email. Um, but yeah, you just got to provide value, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, let me talk a little more in detail about what actually, is a newsletter, how do we set it up, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So for the newsletter itself, what I use is a website called Beehive. I'm sure you've seen it right here. This is my newsletter right here. Just started it. And yeah, what I use is a newsletter called Beehive. And pretty much if you use my link down in the description, you get a 30-day free trial. So you will not have to pay anything for the first 30 days. Okay. And after that, it's 20% off for 3 months, which is, that's pretty good in my opinion. But yeah, pretty much by using Beehive, we can actually, start making our newsletter, create templates to actually, so we won't have to go in every single time and just type everything out, blah, blah, blah. And then also, use your resources. I'm not saying to completely like copy and paste from ChatGPT about a topic, but we can use our resources where we need to help, speed up the process of creating the newsletter. Okay. So for example, I'll go back. This is pretty much like a template that I'm working on right now for my newsletter. And you see, it's pretty simple. You don't have to copy mine or whatever, but this is a pretty simple newsletter. I'm still working on it right now just because it's pretty blank. But if you take the preview of it, pretty much whenever I post, it'll have this right here. This segment is powered by ThemePage HQ. And then it has a couple of affiliate links or links to my communities, whatever, that I have. And then yeah, underneath I can just, create more like boxes to write or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty simple. I think the Beehive is probably the easiest way um to create a newsletter. Let me see if I can actually pull up my post because I did create a post a few weeks ago. But yeah. But yeah, pretty much I would recommend Beehive. Not only because it's beginner friendly, but also just really easy to work. Really easy, and then it's pretty inexpensive. Like I already used my max thing right here, my free trial. It expired, but pretty much like I can, I think I have the 20% as well, so I can like pay for the max version, and it'll be like what, like maybe $30 a month, which isn't bad. Like once I actually start posting and promoting my newsletter, I'll probably get to 100 followers within like a couple weeks. So, and I only have like 300 followers. That's the thing. So imagine if you have a couple thousand followers to like tens of thousands on a newsletter. Like it's crazy. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Beehive for the 30-day trial. And then you can get 20% off for 3 months. So let's say you have a page, in the soccer niche, right? And you want to help teach people, how to play soccer for beginners, or you want to teach people some more moves, how to, become good at soccer. Pretty much what you could do, you could go to Beehive, design your own, newsletter with your own template, your own brand kit, your own layout. And then you could post, 2 times per week. Is a good common number I see, or 1 time a week. That's fine. And you can do this for the entire month for completely free. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to continue it, because after 30 days you do have to, select a plan. But you can actually just experience promoting the newsletter, seeing how, you can integrate, digital product into there. If you want to, monetize it another way, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But I say all that to say this, that, you know, this is a great way to, experiment and test. I know it's only 30 days, but it's a great way to actually test if you want to do something like this in the long term. Free 30-day trial, and then, you don't have to pay anything. So I'd recommend that. But anyways, I'll just show you a little bit of my newsletter right here. As you can see, this is how I designed it. Theme page HQ, blue accent right here. And then this was actually my first newsletter that I made around 3 weeks ago. I haven't posted since then. I probably should. And I pretty much talked about in this newsletter how, newsletters are powerful, and how pretty much you can get your top of the level subscribers or followers from Instagram and turn them into paying subscribers. So that's pretty much all I talked about in there. But anyways, let me go talk about how we can actually monetize our newsletter. All right, so we can monetize our newsletter in a different amount of ways. So right here is something called Boost. I'm sure if you've been in the Instagram theme page space, or if you're in the rabbit hole, you've been watching a bunch of these videos and you've seen people talk about Boost, ads, digital products, blah, blah, blah. All right, pretty much what Boosts are is, let's say you have a subscriber that subscribes to your newsletter, right? If you have a boost on your account, or if you have multiple boosts, you can pretty much have that subscriber have an option to subscribe to these newsletters as well. I'll just go here and I'll show you pretty much. Let me go to monetize. But pretty much you can apply for these boosts relating to your newsletter. And let's say you get accepted. Every time somebody subscribes to you, they have the option to subscribe to one of these that you get accepted to. Let's say you apply and get accepted to it. And let's say you get accepted to this one, Big Desk Energy. And a subscriber subscribes to my newsletter, and then this pop-up comes by. It's like, hey, do you want to subscribe to this one? You get $2 if they subscribe to it, okay? Just like that, just for them subscribing to this newsletter right here. You just automatically get $2. It's crazy, I know. Really don't know the exact conversion rates of this, just because I am new to this newsletter space as well, and just because it differs based on everybody's newsletter, everybody's setup. But, and I would be lying to you if I would say like this should be your number one way of making money. No, like this should not be your number one way of making money. The reason we use a newsletter is for the long-term game, right? If you want to make short-term money, we can do something like, I don't know, like logo clipping or something to that scale, like maybe CPA. But having a newsletter ensures your long-term longevity, not only on social media, but outside of that. Once you have a newsletter, you have an email list. If you don't know, emails from especially, high-paying niches like finance, technology, those are very important emails, because once you have those emails, you have a group of people that can actually, have buying power, and companies will pay for that. I've seen something where it's like this newsletter Morning Brew sold for like maybe, I don't know how much it was, but it was a lot of money. Might have been in the millions. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is just a way to help, just a way to actually monetize it from Beehive itself without you having to do pretty much anything other than applying to this. The one thing I will say about Boost is that sometimes they have these restrictions, and basically it only has an offer that pays for certain eligible countries. So say example, these ones are United States, USA, Australia, UK. What you can do here is just go and then filter it out between, not languages, but it's countries, and then you can filter between no subscriber restrictions. Um, so that way you're getting paid for every single one, every single boost you get, no matter the country. So that's what I would do. Um, I meant to mention this earlier, but pretty much if you are doing boost, do not apply immediately. That's one thing I will say. Do not apply immediately. What you want to do is you want to have at least 10 to 15 newsletters posted already and have 50 to 100 email subscribers, okay? If you post on Boost or if you apply to Boost too early, you will get rejected 100%. And I've seen this and I've heard this with, different people I've talked to in the space. They've gotten rejected before. I'm like, dang. Like, because you got to think of it from the newsletter's point of view that you're applying to. It's like, why would I accept this guy? He has like 25 email subscribers and he posted 2 times. There's really no point in actually, accepting a guy like that. Whereas if you build up somewhat of like a consistent, schedule of posting, you get some subscribers underneath your belt, they can kind of, see that and they'll be like, okay, this guy's consistent with it, and you'll have a higher chance of getting accepted. Now, does having 10 to 15, newsletter posts and 50 to 100 email subscribers guarantee that you get in? No. There's no guarantee that you get in. But that is exactly why you can apply to 25, up to 25 boost per month. And that should be more than enough, to be honest. I would not recommend that you just apply to like 25 all in one day. I'd recommend you like space it out, just in case. Like I just wouldn't apply to all, 25 in one day. But I'd recommend to, find some newsletters that fit your niche and just apply to them. And if you're even thinking about just starting an Instagram theme page and you want to go down this newsletter niche, find some offers that pay the highest. Find some authors that play really, 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 really well, and then base your account around a niche around that. A bunch of people ask me like, hey, how do I actually, start an Instagram account, or like what niche should I start? I'm like, initially, you should have a product or you should have something that you actually want to promote in the beginning. Once you have that thing to actually promote, then you can decide, hey, this product is related to this niche and I can just correlate that and, I can go from there. So, but yeah, I got off kind of topic, kind of got off topic, but yeah, pretty much, if you do have a current page, you can go on here. You can filter it based off niche. I think they do have categories. Yeah. So let's say I want to do social media. Can I talk about social media? Yeah, I could do this one right here. And I actually might apply this one once I get more subscribers, because I only have like 18 subs right now. But once I do get this, or get to this benchmark, whatever, I guess I could apply to this. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for Boost. The next way you can make money, I'll just mention it before we go to digital products, is actually ads, right? So pretty much through ads, you can like, excuse me, but pretty much it's just how it sounds. You get paid pretty much, and there is actually an ad thing for me to apply here. But pretty much you can get paid by, putting ads throughout your newsletter. So let's go back to actually, I don't know if I can go back to my draft that I had, but pretty much I could put like an ad right here. I could put like an ad right here, ad block right here, and I'll get paid with that. I'm not gonna lie, I really do not know like too much about ads themselves, just because I'm not sure if the payout is that well using advertisements from Beehive. But then again, it is another way to actually make money. What you could do, this will require you to be a little more proactive. Let's say you build up an email list to 500 to about 1,000 subscribers. You could go on LinkedIn, you can go on Twitter, reach out to people within your niche, be like, hey, I have an email list with X amount of followers, blah, blah, blah. And you could actually, tell them your rates for an ad. Pretty much the newsletter game is all about, how many people actually open it. and how many subscribers you have. Really, it's the earlier one when I said like how many people open it. Because you could have 1 million subscribers and you could have one person open it, and the click-through rate is like terrible. Or you could have like 10,000 subscribers and you could have like 1,000 people opening it, which is really good, and just way better. So, but the main thing you should be focused on right here is actually growing the newsletter. Um, growing the newsletter. And the best way to do this is, I don't know if you can see right here. I'm not promoting my newsletter right now, but one thing you could do right here is just say, hey, subscribe to mine, or just say, hey, I have a free cookbook or something. If I had a food page, or if I had a page dedicated to startups, I can be like, hey, insider startup information or daily startup news down here. I put that last line, and then I have my beacons right here, so I can do that. If you want to take it a step further, if you're familiar with ManyChat, I would have a ManyChat automation and say, hey, DM me with the word startup, and I'll send you my free startup guide for founders, beginner founders, or whatnot. And pretty much what ManyChat does is it automates DMs, comments. So pretty much if you've seen any person on Instagram say, hey, comment the word food for a free cookbook, pretty much it just automates that, and whenever the person comments the word food, then it'll just send them over to the link they provided and the cookbook they provided. You can do that too. I know that's more advanced, that I'm not going to mention that in this video, but that's just something to think about. And you can think about doing. But yeah, as for ads, you could run ads on your page as well. But I'd recommend boosts more than ads, just because, you don't want to kind of spam your audience with a bunch of ads, especially in the beginning of your newsletter. In my opinion, I think you should just focus primarily about growing the newsletter more than actually monetizing it. Now, if you're like me and you actually have affiliate links or stuff that your audience can, you know, have, and they can actually use, then yeah, if you can find ways to incorporate your own links, affiliate links, ads, and actually run them in a way where it doesn't feel like an advertisement, then 100% do that. I'm not saying to not run ads, I just wouldn't recommend it in the early phases. But yeah, going back to actually monetization, we already talked about boosts. Only apply for boosts once you've had like 10 to 50 newsletters, 50 to 100 email subscribers. Then you could apply up to 25 boosts per month. Okay, next thing is a digital product. Okay, digital products. Okay, this is what I want to talk about right here. I have a friend who actually owns this page, I believe, or this guy in my Discord. He actually runs it. Pretty much right here, he has a food page, and it's dedicated. It's like a kind of an AI niche food page.
Types of headaches, pain in the.
Put a clove of garlic on your feet.
Yeah.
And the next day.
So pretty much what he does from here is post video about like food and like more health and wellness. And then he has an AI voiceover over it. From there, he actually leads people to an ebook. Okay. And I know that, he charges for the ebook right here. This might be an affiliated like ebook. I don't know. Pretty much what I recommend for a page like this is actually, creating a newsletter, getting these email subscribers, and then actually putting the digital product within the email newsletter. As I said before, you can promote digital products within your newsletter. And this also increases your conversions because you have top quality followers going to your email list, and then they can purchase from there. I once heard a phrase that said a good marketer should be able to get $1 per every one email subscriber. So in this way, with a digital product, if you're consistently getting email subscribers, you can get people that actually care about your page to buy things from you. I know this is definitely a problem on Instagram, just promoting it, like this, because he was talking about, hey, I'm only getting like a few downloads, like, or a few um sales like a month. And I was like, dang, like you're pulling in pretty good views, you see. Views like this 2.2 million, another 2 million. So he's pulling in really good views along with really good comments. um so yeah, what I would do is, and he's using the mini chat automation too, as I said before. But what I would do is I would definitely funnel them to the newsletter first. This way, you have them on your email list, and then you can sell them a product. And then in the future, if you continue to grow this, you could sell them, more products, or you could sell them a community, or you could basically sell them whatever you want from here. As soon as they're on your email list, you have them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to sound evil or anything, but once they're on your email list, like, you guys do not understand. Like, and once, yeah, once they're on your email list, like, you got them. Like, you pretty much won. Because you can consistently sell them emails after emails after emails after emails. I'm not saying spam them, but over the course of time, you can kind of like get them to the point that, hey, they feel like, I really want to buy this. I need to buy this. And that's just by nurturing them through emails. And I'm not gonna lie, that's what I'm gonna continue to do. That's what I'm gonna start to do with my email. Let's say I want to create a community based on, Instagram theme pages. Price it at $30 a month. And I can do that. Once I continue to grow my email list, I'll, send out lots of emails, probably 2 emails per week. And I can continue to do this with my, brand. Like, the possibilities are really endless for a newsletter, because people don't have to pay anything. And that's one thing I forgot to mention earlier, but you genuinely don't have to pay anything for this, unless, there's options to make it paid, but just for what we're doing right here, you can make it completely free. And that's what I'm doing. The one thing that I found out, and I said this earlier, is that the more value you provide, the more money you make. And I think, and I believe, newsletters are the best way to do this, because you can provide so much value for free, and then you continue to actually, sell some of your products, sell what you're doing. You get sponsorships in here. I didn't mention sponsorships. There's an account about AI, Uncover AI. They have a newsletter. They have, like, what, over 70,000 followers, email subscribers, which is crazy. And they have like dedicated sections on each newsletter where they have, different advertisements, and they're probably making up to like 3,000-4,000 per newsletter send that they do. So all I'm saying is, there's definitely a market out here. Yeah, there's definitely a market, regardless of if I have my face on my brand or not. There's definitely a market. But yeah, that's the reason I recommend digital products to sell them through the newsletter. It's just because, first, you have them on your email list, and then you can sell them in the future. And then second, you're going to increase your conversion rates tremendously, just because you're not selling to, all 50,000, or 170,000 followers. You have a niche amount of people that actually like care about the content that you have. So I would definitely start a newsletter. And even if, they don't buy the first time you post a thing about, or a newsletter, they can buy the next time, or the next time, or the next, and you can just keep sending emails to them. One thing about having an Instagram account is, people can follow thousands of accounts. And, it's the same thing like with TikTok. It's like they'll follow you, but they won't know you're a follower. Like with their emails, people who put in emails tend to be older. You get what I'm saying? Tend to have an older audience of people who actually check their emails, usually between the ages of, maybe 25 to like 50 plus. And these are actually people that have buying power compared to, little kids and whatnot. And this is why I said these accounts are best for people, or just these accounts, the accounts that do the best are the ones that actually provide value. The informational accounts, the ones that are about news, the ones that are about, you know, potentially politics if you're into that. But these are the accounts that do the best, and it's because they provide value and they have an older audience, and the older audience has buying power. But yeah, you can also promote your digital product in the newsletter. In this video, I'm not actually going to go by like how I designed my newsletter. You can just take a look at it right here. I'll show you some basic things I did. I didn't even like design it to the fullest. Like, it doesn't look that good right now. But yeah, if you want to actually subscribe to my newsletter, I mean, I'll have a link to it. Because I'm actually going to be posting some really behind the scenes stuff that I've been doing. I actually had an account that got to 120 million views in the last 30 days. I ended up selling it, but I actually got an account that got to that. It was crazy. But yeah, I think that's gonna be about the end of the video. But yeah, I just wanted to document this quick video talking about, hey, like, newsletters are going to be the future for a while on Instagram, and especially while we have, you know, mini chat automations, AI, you know, I think wholeheartedly, you know, a lot of people can make a lot of money if they build up a solid email list. And that's my plan with this brand and any other accounts that I acquire in the future. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to the channel. We're like 1.2K right now. I think it's around 1.2K. Let's see. Let's check the channel. Yeah, 1.24K, which is crazy amount. Last time I posted, it was actually a month ago. Speaking about that, I will be posting more. If you have any questions, really just let me know. DM me. And join Theme Page HQ. At 100 members, I'm gonna be doing a personal group call. So if you actually want to, you know, join the group call, ask me any questions, free group call, then join the Theme Page HQ. And I have a secret Discord too. It's free. You have to join Theme Page HQ to get into that one. But yeah, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. If you need anything, I'm on Instagram at Justin Turvey or Discord. But yeah, you have a good night though.